and Portugal. The card purports to foster informed decision making on V and improve continuity of care across the EU, and aims to empower individuals by consolidating all their V data in one easily accessible location, which eventually is going to be what? The micro C hip. And the Spirit's been having us tell you for the longest that was what you're going to have all your records in there. And you will not be able to operate in the system without having this device. While the objectives of the program set to be implemented throughout the EU by 2026, see, we're getting close, appear benign, critics argue that EVC is a stepping stone for mandatory Vs in the future. And it's far more than that, because it's all set up to what? To be able to buy or sell, which is the ultimate goal of the bankers. Remember what Aaron Russo told Alex Jones that him and Nick Rockefeller discussed. That Nick Rockefeller told him that he wants everybody micro C-hipped. Some also argue the EVC is connected to large financial interests and plans to limit personal and national sovereignty. You see, it's all about total control. Get 40% off our flagship product, DNA Force Plus. That's something else. The plan is to get everybody V'd. For Terhorst, efforts to launch the EVC are at their root about digital ID. See? You get a digital ID where all your V records are stored, all your personal details are stored in one place, and you can move it easily from one country to another without having to redo or reapply. Oh, so convenient. So basically, it's about a digital ID and then a link from your personal ID to your medical records on V, she said. Terhorst said that while the idea of having one's medical records easily accessible and transferable sound benign, the plan is to get everybody V'd and to kind of overrule constitutional rights, because they don't care about the Constitution in any country. Once they get the system in place, then they can make the necessary provisions. Once the digital system is finally in place, then they can say, well, you know what? Now, X all of that CBDC or whatever they're going to do, we're going to go straight to the micro C-hip. It was very clear that the object was that anybody with the EU could not say no to V, Terhorst said. According to Terhorst, this contravenes the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union, which in Chapter 1, Article 3, rights to the integrity of the person, encapsulates the key tenets of the Nuremberg Declaration. This includes a requirement for the free and informed consent of the person concerned in relation to med procedures, and the prohibition on making the human body and its parts as such a source of financial gain. It's all about gain, man. So like it for 1 minute. EVC, a continuation of EU V passport. Terhorst said that EVC and the EU's digital V certificate are presented as different programs, with the EVC being rebranded and they always rebrand stuff. Okay, that didn't pass, so let's rehash it. That's what they did with the Federal Reserve System. They took out certain provisions, got it passed, and then they added whatever they wanted. As something completely different and completely new, even though they are both on the same software, she said. They've been working on it for years and years and years, and it works perfect. And it's all linked together like the banking infrastructure, the personal medical records, insurance, everything links into each other, Terhorst said. The EVC is based on the world, or the WHO, Global Digital Health Certification Network, which the EU and WHO co-launched in June 2023 to promote a global interoperable digital V passport based on the EU's digital health certificate. Nothing that plans for the EVC were launched in 2018 before the C19er pandemic, Terho said, "This plan is not new. It has been in the making for a very long time." Terho said the AVC threatens to usurp personal and national sovereignty. There was a digital roadmap for a digital passport. So basically, the EU is trying to become a kind of country or federal state that has capacity to issue a passport to all EU citizens, she said. And this is going to be a worldwide thing. Remember, Yahushua said, because you have kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Terror also connected the plans to launch the EVC, which with the amendments to the WHO's International Health Regulation passed in June at the WHO Assembly. The amendments, I'm saying it like that, for a reason. The amendments contain articles that allow states to enforce medication on anybody during a crisis or emergency or pandemic. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just reading this article for information purposes only. She said it doesn't say that it has to be done, but it gives this permission. Terros also connected plans for the EVC with efforts in other countries to enact new P preparedness plans. She cited the examples of who? New Zealand. And what did we read about New Zealand? Right here. New Zealand legalizes what? Forced V's. Okay? It's all interconnected. It's a global plan. It's not a country plan. It's not a city or state or town plan. It's not a continent plan. It's a global plan. That's why it's called the New World Order, which last month published an interim update to its national P plan, and which was expanded to cover RESP, you can read the rest, type path of P potential. Terhorst also cited the example of Queen Maxima of the Netherlands, who at this year's meeting of the WEF in January said that digital ID is very necessary for the provision of range of public services, and suggested it can be used to track the what? The unveiled. Oh Lord, really? Digital ID is very necessary for financial services, and that's the key. No one will be able to what? Buy or sell. But not only
All right, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises, which is to say call halal to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, for allowing me to do another lesson. Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Well, Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And there's no God beside them. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone, and for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit, and salutations to the elect. And that was a decent intro, but I felt that I had to let it play out, as the Apostle Ramla was hitting every point of that article. So it's not just us, it's plain. It's definitely plain as far as the vision, all right, of the MOTB that John saw. You can read that John the Revelator's vision in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. Remember, the prophet Habakkuk said in the end that it will not tarry. And this is moving very fast from 2020 on now, all right, which is pretty much what the EVC was alluding to. As you see, the E stands for electronic, the V stands for, the thing that they was pushing in 2020. And I forgot what C stands for, all right, but it went from EVC, all right, to a digital ID, to now they're talking about financial inclusion through the digital IDs. And to land back off the Elder Apostle Ramlab's video, I begin to do my own digging. What you just put what I do? I put digital IDs and financial. I think I put digital IDs and financial inclusions. Shalak. I forgot exactly what I put up. I believe it was digital. Let me see, digital ID and anyway. When I was looking it up, put in, just looking up digital IDs, and it was something along the lines of digital IDs and digital inclusions. Nevertheless, it took me to this site, which is a decent site. You see, the site itself is on the money, biometric or the study of the body update, right? So we'll read. I want to read these two articles, all right, and show you like this time is going by very fast and we're very, very, very close. All right, so this one is called Digital ID, right? Again, land backing off the Elder Apostle Ramlab's lesson, going into how digital IDs
personal and national sovereignty. You see, it's all about in relation to whose international health, the provision of range of public services.
Right here. All right, so at the point of where it says digital ID is very necessary for financial services. So maybe that's what I typed in. Salakia. Maybe this is what I typed in. Yeah, it's what I was seeing. All right, yeah, here we go. So these are the two I'm going to go into now. First would be digital ID, as we see. I got it queued up. So it says digital ID and superannuation pilot. Let's look up that word superannuation. So it says a state of being superannuated or too old for office or business, a state of being disqualified by age, discrepitude, superannuated, or say obsolete. So it says digital ID and superannuated pilot projects and PNG approved to boost financial inclusion. So it says the Bank of Papua New Guinea has approved pilot projects aimed at transforming the nation's financial landscape. So I'm guessing it was an older pilot project that was brought back to life. And why in these times? You got to ask yourself, because through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, it's time for that chip to be pushed on a large scale. And again, as we always say, starting off with our apostles and elders, that you can't fear that World War III is going to happen tomorrow because this chip has not been fully pushed throughout the four corners of the earth. All right? Pushed so much that, you are in fear of life or death. All right? We got to remember that. So it says, the Bank of BPNG has approved pilot projects aimed at transforming the nation's financial landscape. According to the National, these projects will focus on the development and implementation of a digital ID system and a new superannuation insurance product, both of which are expected to enhance financial inclusion across the country. All right, so again, digital IDs and financial inclusion is all written here. The digital ID system will leverage technology to provide citizens with a verifiable identity to facilitate easier access to banking and financial services, particularly for those in rural and underserved areas. And that's what you got to look out for, is these key terms, as you're going to also see in the next article I will read. All right, pretty much how this devil is supposedly looking out for the poor. All right, and when you look across the earth, all right, everyone is in financial straits. Well, I would say 99% of us, So this is going to, when it comes to a place near you, it's going to look a lot. When it's introduced to you, it's going to be introduced as a benefit. As you know, with anything you do, as you keep trying it, you get better at it. All right, so this devil is selling you a dream. All right, and he's going to the poor, the underserved areas. All right, this push for digital ID is complemented by the introduction of the DigiZens Bank ID card, a product developed by the Department of National Planning and Monitoring in collaboration with various stakeholders. That's a name, that's a hell of a name in itself, the Department of National Planning. All right. Does not the scripture say he deviseth wicked devices? Let me grab that one. Right? Isaiah 32 verse 7. The instruments also of the churl of evil, he deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor. Easy English says the things that a cheat does are bad. They cause people to believe what is not true. Also, his ideas are bad. He decides to hurt poor people. What he says about them is not true, and he says things like that even when the poor people speak the truth, and those poor people are people who need help. Right? But the point being is that let me see. He's plotting, all right, wicked plans for the poor. Okay? This devil he's very good at manipulation. Right? And it says, what a perfect time. It says this push for digital ID is complemented by the introduction of DigiZens Bank ID card, a product developed by the Department of National Planning and Monitoring in collaboration with various stakeholders. The DigiZens card is specifically designed to address the challenges faced by the rural population in Papua New Guinea by offering a digital ID system that can be used for a range of banking services. The card is set to play a role in bridging the financial inclusion gap in these remote areas, right? Because there's still a lot of places on the earth, that are excluded, because of their internet access, you know. But thanks to Esau Edom, he's gonna bring them. He's gonna bring them up, you know. He's gonna bring them. What's the saying goes? He's gonna bring them up to speed, right? They'll be the first to get it. The approval of these pilot projects followed the successful rollout of similar initiatives in other parts of the world where digital IDs have proven to be instrumental in promoting financial inclusion and security. The projects are also part of BPNG's ongoing efforts to align with global best practices in financial regulation and innovation. All right? And does not the scripture say he causeth all? All right? This is a global endeavor at this point in time. In addition to the digital ID system, the BPNG has also approved a pilot for a superannuation insurance product. This insurance initiative is tailored to protect the savings of the working population, providing them with a safety net in case of unforeseen events. The super insurance is, in addition, let me see. Is expected to work in tandem with the digital ID system in a bid to ensure that all registered individuals can access their benefits. You see? So essentially, it's coming with gifts. He's speaking. The scriptures speak about that. He speak of smooth words. All right, but his tongue was as drawn swords. All right, and it's kind of seeming like well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all, this devil's pretty much putting the baby oil, under your feet to slide you right onto that chip. By providing a digital identity and financial products, the BPNG aims to empower Papua New Guineans with the tools needed to participate fully in the financial system. Right? In other words, they're preparing them for the NWO. Now, this is another one I promised I would read. It's called Colombia's Digital Identity Initiative Sets Up Financial Inclusion Gains. Colombia is making strides in financial inclusion, driven by a digital identity initiative that aims to benefit women and marginalized communities. What is marginalized communities? Let's see, what are marginalization, I guess you could say, the same thing, are groups of people who face social, economic, and political disadvantages due to factors such as race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, disability, or economic status. In other words, the poor. All right, and these are Israelites, for those who don't know. They're of the tribe of Asher. It says, as part of its broader strategy, the Colombian government has launched several key initiatives that are transforming how citizens access financial services, marking a pivotal moment in the nation's journey towards greater economic equity. All right. So again, it's a one world system that this devil is bringing on. All right. And everything, that we've been talking about. I mean, even the Apostle Rumlar brought it out. How Nick Rockefeller boasted to his one-time companion, Aaron Russo, that they want to create pretty much a digital dollar. And they want to put it in your chip. And if you act up, guess what? They can turn it off and ostracize you from society. Now it says in November 2023, Colombia introduced Digital Identity 2.0, a system designed to enhance the security and accessibility of digital identities for all citizens. This system leverages advanced biometric technologies, including fingerprint and facial recognition, to create a more secure and inclusive identity framework, right? By ensuring that every citizen have a verifiable digital ID. The Colombian government aims to address one of the barriers to financial inclusion. As of July 31st, 2024, over 5 million digital IDs have been issued, enabling Colombian citizens to use these documents as secure digital passports for travel within the Andean region. All right, so there's a small region of the large land of Colombia, as they say. These IDs also facilitate identification in both physical and digital environments and support virtual transactions. This move is part of a broader strategy to integrate digital public infrastructure into the everyday lives of Colombians. Again, the NW to the O. Drawing on global best practices such as those outlined in the West's recent guidance on digital identity. Right? Colombia has prioritized the creation of inclusive DPI, or digital public infrastructure, that caters to the needs of marginalized groups. The WEF, in collaboration with the modular open source identity platform, has called for a greater gender equality in the design and implementation of digital public infrastructure. These organizations emphasize that digital identity system should be built with inclusivity at their core, ensuring that they serve the needs of all citizens, particularly those who are most vulnerable. Then it goes into empowering, women through digital inclusion, innovative applications. Colombia's digital ID system is also paving the way for innovative applications beyond traditional financial services. For example, WorldCoin, a global initiative that combines cryptocurrency with digital ID verification, has begun enrolling iris biometrics in 2 Colombian cities. This initiative aims to further expand access to financial services by providing individuals with a digital ID that can be used globally, offering them new economic opportunities. All right, and it's essentially allowing these devils to be able to number the people, all right, and get their and pretty much, work them towards uploading their identification, all right, to the Internet of Things. All right, he needs to be able to cause all, right? So in order for him to be able to cause all, he has to assemble all. All right, and he's doing that through various, as we see, through various forms of digital inclusion. Of course, starting off with the poor. All right, because essentially, who's going to be more accepting, all right, of a gift than those who don't have shit? All right, but this is Sirach. I'm in Psalms 37, verse 14. The wicked have drawn out the sword. and I bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy. You know, and as the brother had brought out in camp, beautiful point. Remember, even King Solomon said, "Give me neither poverty nor riches." He said, if I'm rich, you know, I will deny thee, and if I'm poor, I will take thy name in vain. And this devil, one be as the Most High, all right, understands that as a poor man, all right, you have no pretty much is as or for a poor man, all right, you're gonna take the name of God in vain. You're gonna do whatever's necessary, even if it goes against the laws of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to survive. Right? Which essentially he's just gonna come down having great wrath because the jig is up and we, the prophets, you know, are shining the light on what he's doing. All right. So that's pretty much it, man. You know, Lord willing, you Akim edified as always. With that, shalom to the elect.